Biden said it's been the honor of his life to serve as our president and that Nancy Pelosi can kiss his black.
What the hell happened? What happened?
Holy mother of pearl. On the off chance that you are just waking up from a 48-hour bender. There is only one story anybody's talking about, and it is a humdinger. So prepare to get your ding home.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Say a wall is medieval. Well, so is a wheel.
The next vice president.
What happened?
I want to talk about a Fox News meltdown.
Done here in the woods on private property. It is 10 years in federal prison if done on a black family's land.
Fundamentally divisive, arrogant.
That's the truth here.
The truth? You can't handle the truth. We can't handle the truth.
Do you hate Mexicans?
On this night, you can only hope.
That's the brilliant subtext of this work. It shows us that the truth has no handles. It is that which is unhandleable. Now, there are things that can be handled.
One of the worst things that ever happened to Germany.
And there are things you can do with truth.
This is as full frontal an attack on American democracy as we've ever seen in the history of America's major political parties.
I mean, this is confusing for democracy. Before we preach to anybody else about how democracy and a republic should go, we got to get ours straight. And the Democrats, all they wanted to talk about leading up from the Biden campaign was the threat from Trump for democracy. No, they're the threat. Look at today.
Clearly, handling it is not one of them.
Stephen, this is a very interesting interpretation.
Well, democracy is dead in the Democratic Party. The elitist coup led by Washington, D.C., Hollywood elitists, Democratic big money donors, it worked.
Do you think in any way the American people are going to see this the way that you do? Because
the Americans? I doubt it, John. It's going to go way over their heads.
Top 4 old stories about Donald Trump's racism.
Of course I hate these people. And let's all hate these people, because maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done.
Klansmen from Mississippi.
Number 4. According to his first wife, Ivana, he kept a book of Hitler's speeches on his nightstand.
Had told her lawyer that Donald Trump occasionally read from a book of Hitler's collected speeches, My New Order. And a friend of Trump told the magazine on the record that he had given Trump the book, saying he thought Trump would find it interesting.
If that wasn't cringe enough, his cousin, an employee, would click his heels and shout Heil Hitler every time he walked into Trump's office.
Heil Hitler.
So now we have a new victim to defeat. Lion Kamala Harris. Lion. L-Y-I-N apostrophe.
And that immunity ruling has such...
Frankly, I'd be surprised if this thing even gets into the Whitney biennial. The French, though, will love it. Well, not so much love, but get, which for the French is pretty much the same thing.
Massive implications when it comes to Donald Trump. I want to ask you this, John, because President Biden's son, Hunter, is looking to have his tax and gun cases also tossed. He cited the decision in Florida to toss Trump's classified documents case. The Senate Judiciary Committee member, Josh Hawley, weighed in with Neil on this issue this week. Listen.
I think it's absurd, absolutely absurd. This guy has gotten more sweetheart deals than anybody in America.
Oh, the irony.
Donald Trump, on the other hand, is exactly who he was 20 years ago. A fraud, a criminal, a liar, a fool. A man who never kept a promise in business or to his family. A man without integrity,
When you're a star, they let
honor,
you do it. You can do
or
anything.
courage.
Now, if you'll excuse me, John, I have an 18.5-minute of exquisitely erased Watergate audio tape to listen to. It's like jazz, John. It's the notes they don't play.
Thank you, Stephen.
Firing all of my Joe Biden is old jokes. Okay? They're starting to get tired anyway. Just like Joe Biden. That was the last one.
Every day with Donald Trump is just more of the same. More lies, evasions, and attacks.
Now I'm going to unretire them to use on Donald Trump. Who?
Otherwise, except for this sweetheart treatment he's getting from his father's Justice Department. All these things he's accused of doing don't involve official presidential activity. He doesn't get any immunity, but it's a sign of how desperate, I'm afraid, Hunter Biden is.
So I guess Trump wasn't being desperate.
Diplomatic immunity.
It's just been revoked. Hunter Biden's being desperate.
Who? At 78 is the oldest nominee of the two major parties to ever run. I mean, that guy is so old, he used to judge the Miss Pangea pageant.
And it's ironic to me because they go after Donald Trump, the Democrats, and they say he said he's going to be a dictator on day one and he's going to take away all your rights. He's going to, all the fear mongering that he is going to have such an impact.
Special counsels don't count anymore, according to the federal judge, but only for Republicans.
Okay, what we've got here is the brand new Top Gear clockometer that I've just thought of. The idea is the camera takes a picture as you approach. The image is then analysed and it tells you how much of a cock you look.
When he was a kid, his phone number was 8.
Klansman for Mississippi! Mississippi! Klansman for America!
At number 3, in the 1980s, Kip Brown, a former employee at Trump's castle, said when Donald and Ivana came to the casino, the bosses would order all of the black people off the floor. It was the 80s. I was a teenager, but I remember it. They put us all in the back, and they did so because they knew Trump's preferences.
The Democrats went after him through the court system. They weaponized the Department of Justice to go after this guy.
The Biden administration is now floating the idea of attacking the courts.
Yeah.
This is not a balanced government with a separation of powers. This is an effort to bend all the institutions, if not break them, in pursuit of their overriding political goal, which is to stop Donald Trump, which they just do through the ballot box in November. They don't need to pull down our institutions and rules if they want to oppose Donald Trump.
Actually, that's not what this video is about. What I really want to talk about is the Fox News meltdown over any Biden.
Good score.
And it's ironic to me because they go after Donald Trump, the Democrats, and they say he said he's going to be a dictator on day one and he's going to take away all your rights. He's going to, all the fear mongering that he is going to have such an impact on democracy on this country. And yet when they talk about going after the Supreme Court and changing the fundamental way that the court works and the impact that it would have with the other branches, they would be the ones having, having that kind of a negative impact on democracy. But
Special counsel illegal, they said. Partisan witch hunt, they said.
And if the court becomes afraid of being attacked in this way every time it renders an unpopular decision, then that last resort is going to be weakened, and our constitutional rights are all going to suffer.
Oh no, it's a 7.
Absolutely.
So what about...
Klansmen, behold the fiery cross, still brilliant. All the troubled history failed to quench its hallowed flame. Let me say that the cross is an inspiration, a sign of the Christian religion, a symbol of faith, hope, and love.
And at number 2, the most egregious incident on my list happened in 1989 and has been characterized as a modern-day lynching. 1 Latino and 4 black teenagers, the Central Park 5, were accused of attacking and raping a jogger in New York City. Trump spent a small fortune running attack ads in papers demanding bring back the death penalty. The teens' convictions were later vacated after they spent 7 to 13 years in prison.
After that terrible attack in Central Park, you spent a lot of money taking ads that seemed, Donald, to the casual reader insightful, like, wow.
Of course I hate these people. And let's all hate these people because maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done.
We have more than enough time to right the wrong of this fraudulent election result and certify Donald Trump as the winner of the election. As we speak today, an alternate slate of electors in the contested states is going to vote, and we're going to send those results up to Congress.
They wanted someone else, they said. Joe's gotta go, they said.
2 years ago, I introduced articles to impeach Joe Biden on his first full day in office. We will impeach Biden, bolded with an exclamation point, and you see the actual resolution here. So we have the receipts to prove it. There really is no reason why. They don't care why they want to impeach the president, but they've been trying to do it now for years. Here you have, of course, a member of this oversight committee posting about introducing articles of impeachment on President Biden's very first day in office. And now the Speaker of the House is empowering these people in a desperate attempt to keep his job.
But the impeachment, oh my God, the impeachment. What a shit show. These people have nothing.
Hunter Biden paid for this woman to do this with him, to travel across state lines from California to Washington, D.C. on June 15th. This is a violation of the Mann Act. This was prostitution. This is evidence of Hunter Biden making sex. Excuse me, this is my time. Making pornography.
Should we be displaying this, Mr. Chairman, in the committee?
Did a lady's time's expire?
You can consider your speech canceled during my time.
Every action that was taken was consistent with the letter and text of the law. And if you want to talk about democracy, because you brought up the issue, and yes, I'm going to go back there, about the ebb and flow of illegal immigration. Here's what matters.
We gave time to that. I have limited time. I've given you a lot of time. I'm not going back to immigration. Take a listen to what Trump allies were saying about the vice president at the time on this topic. Take a listen to Epstein and others. Take a listen.
The remedy was for Vice President Pence's, the quarterback in the Green Bay sweep, to remand those votes back to the 6 battleground states.
The vice president's got a lot of power, and that's very important to recognize.
If Mike Pence does the right thing, we win the election.
They held a primary. People, they had ballots. They filled out circles. They went to the voting booths. They spent money on advertisements. And as President Trump said, the Republican Party spent tens of millions of dollars running against Joe Biden. Now they just woke up one morning and said, never mind, we're canceling the entire primary. We're getting rid of our candidate, and we're pretending the election has never even happened, and we're going to let donors handpick a new nominee. They're publicly admitting that they are an oligarchy. They are not running a democracy. They are not running a representative republic. This is an oligarchy controlled by business interests. And the Democratic Convention is the private corporation that represents those business interests. This is as full frontal an attack on American democracy as we've ever seen in the history of America's major political parties.
Oh, he's broken the machine! He's broken it!
Joe Biden's a criminal, they said. Hillary Clinton is a criminal, they said.
This is what pains me to call this a banana republic tactic, because it was all triggered by the Biden administration's effort to use the Justice Department to attack a current political rival and a past president. The opinion only gives you immunity if you're the president.
A criminal can't be president, they said. Lock him up, they said.
If he were not Joe Biden's son, he would be in prison as we speak. Remember, this DOJ tried to slip in a plea agreement, tried to slide it past the court that would basically absolve him of all of his criminal wrongdoing.
Trump did nothing wrong, they said. The jury was a bunch of Democrats from New York, they said.
Just like going after Trump with lawfare is also a sign of desperation.
And it's unfortunate that this is the conversation that's coming out right now. But having said that, it's not one that we haven't heard from the Democrats before, wanting to potentially expand the Supreme Court and do all kinds of things.
Special counsel has no place, they said. Donald Trump's case should be dismissed, they said.
I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. I'm sure he's just hoping and praying his father can hold on as president long enough to get pardoned. This guy's a criminal. He belongs behind bars.
And when you're dealing with these people, they're very dangerous people. When you're dealing with them, you can't be too nice. You really can't be. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay? They want me to be nice. And she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
National unity, time of death. 6:20 p.m.
All these things he's accused of doing don't involve official presidential activity. He doesn't get any immunity, but it's a sign of how desperate, I'm afraid, Hunter Biden is.
Act of desperation, they said. They don't care who the Democrats run, they said.
Which will be impossible with a white, straight guy. Whoever they pick, it's irrelevant because nobody's disagreed. Nobody's disagreed in the Democrat Party, or nobody of any consequence, with what Biden has done for the last 3.5 years. So, it is on them. The culpability is theirs, whoever they pick.
They can't just now switch to a black lady, they said. We're gonna sue to make sure Joe Biden stays on the ballot, they said.
This is the dance of a man who finally has something new to talk about after 5 years.
But I just think, as you suggested, Joe Biden is pandering to the extreme left wing of his party so that they won't oppose him for the nomination.
I was supposed to be nice. They say something happened to me when I got shot. I became nice.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to
cuddle. The Democrats are crazy, they said. And we are unified and with the mandate of God, they said.
So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
Donald Trump spoke at the annual meeting of the National Association of Black Journalists. And it was the same old show. The divisiveness and the disrespect. And let me just say, the American people deserve better. The American people deserve better.
Considering packing the court.
I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. They're full of shit, Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal says. They've always been full of shit, Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal has always said. Y'all take it easy.
Trump said a lot of crazy stuff, but there's an explanation for that. He crazy.
They say the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Okay, they say, why would he mention Hannibal Lecter? He must be cognitively in trouble. No, these are real stories.
No.
Kamala even wants to pass laws to outlaw red meat to stop climate change, and she is...
He's just as selfish, small, petty, and full of hate and vengeance as he ever was. This election will be many things to many people, but the undeniable truth is that it's between a prosecutor and a criminal, between justice and corruption, between the hard truth and the big lie, between a candidate who wants to leave America a future and a criminal who can only cling to the past.
We don't want you anywhere. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired.
The choice is still clear. It's America or Trump. It's Kamala or MAGA. It's us or them. Kamala Harris for president.
You know what that means? That means no more cows. This is serious. No, this means no more cows. I guess eventually she's going to mean no more people, right? No more people.
So if I understand him, and I hope I don't.
The late, great Hannibal Lecter.
If you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me. And they don't look like the Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians. And a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Thank God that's not the test of whether or not people have rights in this country or not, whether or not they pass your look test.
Depends whether or not you're approving it, sir.
No, it's not a question whether I'm approving it. It's not a question whether I'm approving it. Mr. Trump, you know in the history of this country where we've heard this discussion before, they don't look Jewish to me.
Oh, really?
They don't look Indian to me. They don't look Italian to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the test for whether people could go into business or not go into business, whether they could get a bank loan. You're too black? You're not black enough?
I want to find out.
That's not it.
Well, then why you're
That's not-
approving for Indian? Why don't you approve it for everybody?
Fair liberal. Y'all take it easy. Hey, before you go, please like and subscribe. It really, really helps me out. Every click may just save a life.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't negotiate, let's investigate. We'll accelerate how we're taking him down.